It's been almost 10 years since The Last of Us was released to gamers around the world to tell the heart-wrenching story of Joel and Ellie, and other survivors in a world full of deathly and vicious infected. The Last of Us was groundbreaking in many ways, but most of all, it's considered one of the best games of the decade because of its compelling story and unforgettable characters. Players were incapable of not getting emotionally involved with the destinies of Joel, Tess, Ellie, Sam, and others. But what did their personalities say about their zodiac signs? Aries usually get involved in multiple conflicts and think of themselves as righteous in deciding for everybody else. They always bear in mind what they think is best, but are so confident in their beliefs that don't really take into account anybody else's opinion. This drives them to be very competitive and ambitious, just like Marlene. Marlene was an antagonist of the game, but it cannot be said that she was an evil character. Her intentions were good, and she felt morally conflicted about performing Ellie's surgery. However, she deeply believed it was justified to take Ellie's life for the sake of multiple others. Her posture in these kinds of matters makes her an undisputable Aries. Tauruses are often looking for a peaceful life in the comfort and company of their families and loved ones. They appreciate stability and are very hard-working. In a post-apocalyptic world full of deathly threats and dangers, it is hard to achieve stability, but as most fans know, Tommy was doing his best to do so. Tommy really grew up as a person after leaving his brother's side. Even though he once committed cruel crimes with his sibling in order to survive, he learned that life has more to offer and became very compassionate. Tauruses are always looking to enjoy the finer things in life, and Tommy was always giving his all to make everything better. The zodiac sign of Gemini often represents the dualism within a person's personality, and nobody in the game knew how to exploit this contradiction to deceive others than David. He knew how to hide his sinister and evil intentions through his charisma, and he constantly used different masks to manipulate others, which made him the worst villain in The Last of Us. Not all Gemini are as twisted as David, and some use their very high intellectualism and charm for good, but he made the most of these traits in order to commit atrocious acts. Geminis are very resourceful and wise when it comes to deciding when and how to act, and David befitted this sign every step of the way. Sarah checks all the boxes of a Cancer personality. She was very loving, kind, caring, and bright. She loved her father so much that she managed to do impressive things, in spite of her young age, in order to show her affection. As players know, she even somehow bought his dad a watch and demonstrated in her dialogue that she was very mature. Cancers never hesitate on displaying their affections or emotions. They are very sensible and altruistic, and for the little time players got to know Sarah, she showed all of those tender and heart-warming traits. Leos are leaders and usually take the spotlight. It's not without reason that they are prone to doing so, as they often have very strong, brave, and bold personalities that make them the most adequate to make decisions or guide others, and that sums up Tess' persona. She is admirable and a true lion when she needs to protect herself and others. Leos are connected to the fire element, and Tess demonstrated her passion and determination in many ways to obtain her objectives. She was able to give a fierce battle to anyone who encountered her, just like any Leo would do. Virgos are usually loners, given that they are very meticulous, methodical, practical, and perfectionists. Their calculative and intellectual personalities make them the best ones to ideate effective plans, which perfectly describes Bill, whose genius traps and well-thought hideout drove him to consider solitude as the best survival method. The zodiac sign is inclined to think that he can do things better than everyone else, and are often individuals who put a lot of thought into their craft. Bill's intelligence but mistrust of everyone else make him an absolute Virgo. However, they do not enjoy their lonely lives as much as they seem, and Bill proves that in a hidden detail, Frank's picnic chair. Like Libras, Henry always focuses on everything based on a balanced approach between logic and love, and has strong beliefs about what is right and wrong. He is very protective of his brother, but also shows compassion and care for others who he considers trustworthy. But as much as they'd like to be balanced and logical in all aspects, Libras can also be victims of strong emotions and become indecisive or unpredictable if something affects them deeply. That is why, as serene as Henry seemed, as soon as something deeply hurt him, he took a quick and drastic decision that derived in one of the most shocking moments of The Last of Us. Scorpios are very independent and self-sufficient. They hardly rely on anyone else, and this is mainly because they are very practical and intelligent. However, Scorpios have a soft side that they are always trying to protect, and therefore raise big walls around them that get them to be perceived as selfish, cold, or pessimistic. But as soon as someone gets to break them down, they become incredibly protective and are willing to do absolutely everything for the ones they love. Joel had a brutal past and did unspeakable things after the virus started, but the truth is, for Sarah, Tess and for Ellie, he gave everything to keep them alive and well. Sagittarius are fierce adventurers who look to connect with people around them. They can be tough, but at the same time, they have soft personalities and are always open to new experiences, acquisitions of knowledge, or meeting and bonding with new people. Ellie is brave, and although she is afraid of the ruthless world she was born into, she always acts with bravery and maturity. Her sensitivity, curiosity, and kindness made her capable of making someone like Joel open up to her and protect her. In every way, she is a Sagittarius at heart. Capricorns are known for being patient and perseverant. Their dedication to their loved ones and to their life goals are admirable, and Maria showed how much of a Capricorn she was with her relationship with his beloved husband, Tommy. It takes an extraordinary amount of understanding, tolerance, and love to be married in a post-apocalyptic world, make the relationship work, and be able to run a shelter for survivors. Despite her young age, Riley Abel always proved she could handle herself and was not afraid of diving headfirst into very hazardous, complex, or challenging situations in order to stay alive or follow the causes and values she believed in, just like an Aquarius. She was rebellious and had a hard time trusting other people. However, when someone proved worthy of her trust, she was very protective and loving. The Zodiac sign is represented by the water bearer, which perfectly symbolizes the safety figure Riley became for Ellie. The Last of Us reality is too harsh and cruel for everyone, but especially for Pisces. This form of living can be too much to handle and can make them feel easily devastated. However, their sensitive personalities can also lead them to feel very happy with minor things, such as catching food with their mouths or having a toy in their hands, like Sam. Pisces spent most of the time in their heads, thinking of endless possibilities or debating mystical concepts, which rang especially true to Sam, who questioned things as his fear of the infected or if heaven was real. Many times, he proved to be too good and innocent for the world he was living in, just as any Pisces would.